Hey, watch out, that thing's pretty hot. Hey Charles, it's everyone, how are you today? The hotly anticipated Pokémon Horizons anime just kicked off the series with an absolute bombshell of a 2-episode premiere, and I'm excited to talk about it. Because fans were pretty nervous about the premiere given that it was the first step into the post-Ash and Pikachu era of the Pokémon anime, but good golly, Miss Molly, if the rest of the series is anything like episodes 1 and 2, then we are in for a hot treat. Based on the premiere, I think that the creators have really succeeded at setting up a series that is going to stand on its own merits. So the plan today is to review the first 2 episodes of Lico's adventure, breaking down the key points, the banger bits, and the individual ingredients that made the premiere such a delicious dish. And as always, it's going to be a good time, so kindly subscribe to feed Mr. Cat, and let's jump right in. But first, I've put together a class on making day-to-day life more fulfilling with a simple system to boost mental and physical well-being, and you can check it out for free with a free trial over on Skillshare. Skillshare is most famous for its photography, film, and drawing classes, but it's also a great place for creative people who want to reinvent their goals and careers and boost their productivity and quality of life. I've personally used Skillshare for years now to build useful skills in art and video production for my YouTube channel, as well as creative writing skills for my other projects. And if you are also interested in boosting your novel writing abilities, one great Skillshare class you should take is Lincoln Michelle's Science Fiction and Fantasy Creating Unique and Powerful Worlds, which has helped me create a compelling fantasy world for my own story thanks to his insights on ripple effects, reinventing classic tropes, etc, etc. And whether you are into novel writing, pixel art, game development, manga drawing, YouTube, or something else, you're sure to find a class on Skillshare. And you can enjoy unlimited classes from the Skillshare library for free, since the first 1,000 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So snag the trial, best of luck skilling up, and with that said, it's back to today's chat. P.S. I'd love to get your feedback on my class, so see you there. To provide some key context for the discussion, the gist of the first 2 episodes was this. Our new hero Liko moves from Paldea to Kanto to begin her new life at Kanto's Indigo Academy, with the writers taking time to build out the academy environment and show Liko anxiously settling into the daily grind. Compared with Ash, harass the local wildlife, and steal a little girl's bicycle Ketchum, the Liko we see in episode 1 of Pokémon Horizons is much more introspective and uncertain about herself. And she honestly probably has a lot more in common with your average first day on the job kid than Pallet Town player number 1 or his Chadley rival. For instance, she's too nervous to speak out to the other girls on the bus to school when she sees them watching an influencer who she is also a big fan of, missing a chance to make some friends, and she tells us that she is always overthinking things and freezing up. Not at all like Miss Molly, who would chat up a Wookiee after the first pint. That said, Liko does make friends with her Tooth Girl roommate and gradually improves her bond with starter Pokemon Sprigatito, so she's not completely a lost cause. Anyways, as you may know, Liko possesses a mysterious pendant given to her by her grandmother that we knew was going to be a key plot device. And sure enough, it quickly gets her into trouble with the wrong people, an organization known as the Explorers, who turn up at Liko's school to trick her into giving them the pendant. But Liko catches on to the deception, and after a short skirmish, she tries to run away with her Sprigatito, only to find herself cornered on the rooftops. And it looks like it's all over for her, until a rakishly handsome man and his scorching hot Charizard suddenly swoop in to her rescue. An epic battle breaks out between Charizard and the Cerulege of Explorers member Ametheo, but unfortunately Liko gets caught in the crossfire while trying to jump a gap between rooftops. And it really did look like Ash Ketchum might be getting his show back, until a bright light erupts from Liko's pendant, enveloping her and Sprigatito in a massive orb, wherein she comes face to face with a brand new turtle-like Pokemon, just for a moment before the Pokemon and the orb vanish. Yes, it looks as if the pre-evolution or base form of Terapagos, the legendary Pokemon that will star in the upcoming DLC, the Indigo Disc for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, is living right there within Liko's pendant. The plot thickens. Also, I do hope that the quality of animation in the premiere will be reflected throughout the series, because the short bout between Charizard and Cerulege was an absolute sizzler. Not to mention that the level of shading on that Cerulege does not look like the product of a weekly anime. Anyways, the man then flies Liko to a massive airship in the sky where he is introduced as Freed, the leader of a group of adventurers known as the Rising Voltacklers. Yes, I know what you're thinking. It's quite the name. We also meet the other crew members, including Hugh Hefner Pikachu, but the introductions are short-lived as the explorers soon crash the party, now set on not just taking Liko's pendant, but also abducting Liko herself, since they realize she is somehow connected to the pendant's secret. Then, Captain Pikachu steps up to the plate for a banger of a battle against Ametheo's Cerulege ledge, and Sprigatito encourages Liko to make her own stand as well. Unfortunately, Sprigatito ends up falling into the clutches of the explorers, who make their escape, and that is where episode 2 of Pokémon Horizons concludes. First off, I have to say that I was absolutely floored by the quality of these 2 episodes. It was really important for the production team to nail the premiere, and they did. With that said, let's break down the secret sauce ingredients in more depth. Firstly, the world of Pokémon Horizons that we've seen thus far is very much alive and well realized. The creators paid a lot of attention to fleshing out the Academy environment, and the world just generally has a great feel to it. For example, the show does a good job capturing the atmosphere of a campus and its dorms, and there are all kinds of little details like the way starter Pokémon are distributed to the Academy's students that add depth to the world. The Rising Voltacklers airship is the other major location of the premiere, and not only is it a cool ride, but it is brought to life by the various Pokémon who play a part running it with their unique talents, from the Boiler Room Boys to the Big Wig in the penthouse. And I can't wait to see how more of the Pokemon world is portrayed through the Horizons lens. Secondly, we have Liko herself, who is very different from Ash Ketchum when he was starting out. Whereas Indigo Ash was confident, full of heart, and kind of a dick at times, Liko is much more pensive, and the first 2 episodes are filled with her inner monologues that give us insights into her thoughts and feelings that we rarely ever got with Ash. It was refreshing, her insecurities leave her a lot of room to grow into her role, and despite her difficulty taking action, we've already seen flickers of confidence and strength that show us where she might be headed. For example, when she has Sprigatito take down Goofy Man's Rhydon, or when she responds to Sprigatito's pep talk during the airship battle by leaping into the fray herself. Sprigatito itself is no Pikachu, but it's mischievous, full of spirit, and I wonder if Liko will evolve it into that cat everyone loves. Liko's character traits, nifty design, and cat aside, we also have the mysteries of Liko's pendant. Why did her grandmother give her the pendant? What exactly is its secret? And how will the connection between Liko, the pendant, and the turtle within develop? It's pretty intriguing stuff. Thirdly, regarding the other key characters, Freed has the cool and competent Amudo factor working for him. Captain Pikachu strikes a nice balance between ridiculous and badass, and while we haven't seen that much of the other crew members thus far, they each pop in their own way, and it's going to be fun digging into their backstories as the plot progresses. On the whole, I think that the camaraderie between the Rising Voltacklers members is going to be one of the big strengths of the show. And as for the bad guys, the explorers, they're not at all like the comedic Team Rocket trio. Instead, we have a serious, menacing, Hunter J-like enemy that is actually threatening, and it was Ametheo and his henchmen who made the first 2 episodes so exciting. Also, although we haven't seen the other co-protagonist Roy in action just yet, he definitely projects a kind of Ash energy that should create a nice contrast with Liko's more reserved personality. Lastly, my favorite thing about Pokémon Horizons thus far is how the world building, the characters, and the story elements are coming together into something much bigger than the sum of its parts. That is, a true sense of adventure. From the unlikely hero forced into motion by an abrupt call to action, to the bad people who will presumably pursue her to the ends of the earth, to the giant airship flown by a crew of lively swashbucklers, to the mystery of Liko's pendant and the turtle monster within, to Roy's unusual Pokeball and the shiny Rayquaza. So far, this feels more like One Piece or Skies of Arcadia than a carbon copy of Ash Ketchum's adventures. And whereas Ash's unforgettable quest to be the very best was clearly set up from the get-go, we still don't have a crystal clear grasp of Liko's goal, and neither does she. But it's going to be a blast seeing how her vague ambition to expand her horizons develops in the coming months and years. Personally, I'm really excited to see what's next. But how about you? So what's your favorite Pokemon spin-off? There are so many out there, from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon to Pokken to Pokemon Puzzle League to Pokemon Conquest to Pokemon Snap to etc. But to be honest, my favorite spin-off is probably Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure and its sequel Wonders Beyond. These games had a great mix of battling, racing, and minigames tied together by charming graphics and soundtracks, and back then I found myself wondering why we couldn't have exciting real-time battles like that in the mainline games. Pokemon Rumble was another game that experimented with fun real-time battles, but the atmosphere and platforming elements of the Pokepark games really set them off. Well, I'm curious what you think. Now, when is the Penthouse spin-off game coming out?